Today, what we have done for the last couple months, we had a break day on Labor Day weekend at the start of September, but we did July, August, September, and now into September. We've done interviews of people who are using each of the nine business models. Um, for most of them, the business model that we were talking about wasn't the primary one that their business revolves around. However, what in fact, that was deliberate on my part to make sure that there was not an implication that if you're in one of those boxes, you're restricted to being inside that box. Um, I think I see a note from Tony, so thank you. I appreciate that confirming that we're live. So each of the people that I interviewed was I was looking for people that had particular levels of involvement so that I was making sure that I was still speaking to the primary audience for GHL business launch. The primary audience for launch is not a company who's already stably producing six-figure a year revenue and is ready to start like expanding and growing their team. That's a different phase of the business growth model. The business launch phase is pre-launch, pre-income, pre-stability, then stable income, then actually producing profitable income, owning a job. And then from there, you get to decide whether you grow that business into a fully a self-sustaining company or whether you just choose to be an independent owner operator. Okay, so that's who we're talking to, and whether that person calls themselves a side hustle, whether they call themselves a hobby business, whether they call themselves a lifestyle business, whether they call themselves a freelancer or a consultant or a specialist. Um, I take exception to the word expert, but that word gets revolved around in our world. So if you're consider yourself a I would call it a specialist, someone who does things in that field. Um, that's who GHL Business Launch is targeted toward. And then the GHL part is if they're using HighLevel, then I also help with the technical part of how do you implement HighLevel in that process. But the um the the nine business models uh understanding or framework is because if you're trying to run a business like that off your a laptop style business, and I was going to pull my laptop out, but it's if you're trying to run a laptop style business and you're uh, using HighLevel to do so, you're you're likely to be told by people in the HighLevel world, well, you should use HighLevel this way, or you should use HighLevel that way. And the person that's saying use it this way says, I'm making X number of figures of dollars per year or per month, and you should do it this way because that's what I do. And that person is saying, I make X number of dollars or figures per year or per month, and I do it that way. So you should do it that way. And both of them are correct, but they aren't necessarily correct for you. It's the right way for this person, and it's the right way for that person, but it's not necessarily the right way for you. So the whole point of the nine business model framework is to say, is to understand the various ways people are using it, and then be able to say, now that I understand other things, ways people are using are doing it, what their business is, now I can self-evaluate. I can hold a mirror up and say, what do I want to do? What are my skills? What are my specialties? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? Let me avoid business models that require me to compensate for my weaknesses and lean into business models that accentuate my strengths. So what we're going to do for the next 30 minutes or so is we're going to go through a summary, a rehash of the last 9 weeks worth of interviews. Certainly, I wouldn't want to try to quote other people. The expectation is not that I'm going to rehash the conversations I had with all nine of those people. I want to pull out a point or two from each one of them, and I want to highlight again the strengths and weaknesses, or the pros and cons for each of these 9 business models. And in each of these cases, remember that in the context is HighLevel is a operating system. Actually, the workflows are effectively a programming language. It's a way of solving problems in a business. And for each of these high-level agencies, and whether that's an agency of one person or whether that's an agency of 25 people, they should be eating their own dog food. They should be a business model 0 using HighLevel in their business. And all of their clients are what I would call business model 0. The client company who has an account in my agency is a business model 0 business for the purpose of this framework. This framework is about, if you're a high-level agency, even if you're an agency of 1, how do you use HighLevel as your business? And then business model 0 is, how do I use HighLevel in my business to actually execute my business, to do the things that my business does? All right. So very quickly, for the framework, there are 2 affiliate models. The pure affiliate is someone who has an audience. They're talking to their audience about whatever they talk to their audience about. And they say, oh, by the way, here's my my link. If you want to sign up for HighLevel, here's my link for HighLevel. This may very well be somebody who's like a business coach, and they're doing business coaching, and they say, oh, by the way, you can use any software platform to do the things that I'm recommending that you want. If you happen to not have one that you like, here's my HighLevel affiliate link. If they are actually teaching how to implement their strategies using HighLevel, then they slide between business model 2 and business model 7. But for purpose of the demonstration, the overview, pure affiliate is talking to the audience about whatever they talk about, and they say, here's my link to HighLevel, here's my link to Agency Unbound, here's my link to Termageddon, here's my link to BeVisibleOnlineSolutions, since Lavinia is on the live right now. Whatever those links are, they're talking about whatever they're talking about, and then the link is how they monetize it. The value added affiliate, on the other hand, is the person whose topic is about HighLevel, and they're saying, if you sign up for HighLevel through my affiliate link, then XYZ. This is how I'm going to help you implement, adopt, and use HighLevel. But there's no direct compensation back to the affiliate. The affiliate gets paid commission by HighLevel. That the difference between the value-added affiliate and SaaS, and especially a pure SaaS, is in a pure SaaS, it's the HighLevel platform, but it's a subscription to the agencies, to an account in the agency's HighLevel, instead of a direct subscription to HighLevel. The way to make SaaS work is typically it comes with the assets, where a value-added affiliate says, I'm going to give you these assets to help you implement it. Typically with SaaS, the niche is either specific to an industry, specific to a particular set of services, or a particular territory, and the assets are unique to that particular agency helping implement for their clients, but it's mostly hands-off. Their client is still doing the work. SwaS is the client has a subscription, has signed in, is doing things for themselves, marketing for themselves, but they also have, with a service, with additional marketing services being provided by the agency. The marketing partner is when the client company, the business model 0 company, has their business systems integrated with HighLevel, but the agency is doing most of the work inside HighLevel to do marketing on behalf of the client. And this is a fractional CMO, Chief Marketing Officer, a marketing department, outsourced marketing department. The marketing agency is a little more hands-off. They're doing marketing activities. They're using HighLevel to do it, but they maybe send the leads by just an email or a text message or on a Google Sheet. and then what the client company does, how client company uses that lead, how it follows up with that lead is less about marketing agency, the high-level agency. That's the difference between the true traditional marketing agency and the marketing partner is the amount to which the client company, the business model zero user of the marketing activities, beneficiary of the marketing activities, how engaged in high level they are. Business model 7 person is someone who's teaching, coaching, advising on how to do any of the other 8, and also business model 0. So if someone's doing coaching on how to do marketing for a real estate agent, their business is coaching, advising, and then they're saying, oh, by the way, if you need high level to implement it, here's my high level. For 9 business model purposes, that would be business model 2. If on the other hand, they're saying if they're saying, here's my affiliate link to sign up for high level. If on the other hand, they're saying, oh, by the way, just as part of my coaching program, you automatically get us an account in high level, that would slide it over into business model 7 kind of category. Business model 8, and this was a lot of the freelancers in the GHL business launch community. If you are helping other people use their high level, whether it's an end user, business model 0, someone subscribed directly to high level, or someone who has an agent, a location account inside another agency's subscription, and you're just coming along building landing pages as part of a funnel for them, or you're building out or editing or troubleshooting in workflows, that would fall in business model 8. You're a solo owner operator, consultant, freelancer, but you are, for the purpose of this business model framework, you are a business model 8 agency of 1. And then the developers are people who actually have coding skills and are actually building additional software to plug gaps in high level as it currently exists, and or to expand what high level does. Okay. So the people that we talked to, I'm trying to find a quote. There we go. The people that we talked to over the course of the last couple of months. Vanessa Minkley is out of New Zealand. She's originally South African. Talked to us about how her primary marketing of high level is as an affiliate. She does business coaching, she does business advising, she does training, and she also does project-based web development or workflow development in high level. But rather than having people subscribe to her SaaS, which was her model, she's transitioned to the affiliate model where if they're going to use high level, she asks them to sign up for high level through her affiliate link, but then they hire her back on a project basis to actually build the workflows or landing pages, funnels, email sequences in their high level account. The crucial advantage of this is she doesn't have a support requirement. Because they have their own subscription to high level, they can contact high level support directly. On the value added affiliate, we talked to Josh Sanderford, and his main offer to the high level community is gray label support videos. So he has this series of support videos that describe how to use, quote, the platform, and he never names high level explicitly, so that agencies can choose to either be a black label, gray label, high level agency. They can talk about lead connector if they want, or they can be white label and only talk. In my case, it would be OmniHub. I could protect my white label, and I could say I offer this SaaS platform called OmniHub. So that's kind of the value that he adds is he's saying to all of us, here's this set of tools that you can use. And oh, by the way, when he onboards somebody, that's part of the package that they get access to. We talked to Lavinia. Lavinia was watching on Facebook Live here just a moment ago. Whether she's still on or not, we'll know in a minute probably. So she talks in SaaS. She explicitly said, well, she doesn't have a pure SaaS model. She has a hybrid SaaS model. But the SaaS model part is taking high level's core platform and then saying, I'm going to modify it to fit a particular niche or a particular set of services a niche in terms of industry or a niche in terms of the product or service being provided. Um, Lately, she's specializing in voice AI agents, which is awesome. She's getting some great traction in that space. And the point that she was making is, yes, here's the SaaS that we provide to the client, but dumping the software into somebody's lap, just like with the pure affiliate or even the value-added affiliate, dumping it under the lap means now you're trying to help them solve a problem, but you've given them another problem. You've given them the adoption and integration problem of implemented in their business. The hybrid model is coming alongside them and bringing along some additional services. And it's the gray area between SaaS and SwaS. So with Shane Bowles, what we talked about is how you can you can say, okay, here's my SaaS product, but it comes with this set of services, and how you differentiate the software with a service versus the marketing partner is software with a service is more of a productized service. This is what I do, this is all that I do at this price point. If you want me to do more, that's this, like Vanessa Minkley talked about, that's this project basis. Okay, you want me to also build your website or do some major rewrite of your website? That's going to be an additional project-based cost. Because in the SwaS model, this is my product. It has HighLevel as the software platform or whatever your white label agency brand is, and it comes with this particular set of example services so that you're solving a problem for your client. But it's not this open-ended marketing partnership, fractional CMO. So that is the conversation we had with Amy Schultz and Alastair Macartney, where we talked about how the client is trying to run their business. Business model zero user of the marketing services isn't an expert marketer. They're a irrigation company, or they're a vineyard, or they're a whatever it is that they are, lawn care company, and they are not expert marketers. So having someone come alongside them who can not only do the marketing, but actually run the software and make sure that the client gets the result from the software. That's the strength of the marketing partner model. With Tony Juays, we talked about, so why do we still have the traditional marketing agency in this mix? Well, the reality is the client may not want to log into the system ever. They might want to just hire you for a very narrow thing. Maybe they only want someone to do social media management for them. Maybe they only want someone to work on their website for them. And this is the case where the traditional marketing agency model still applies. And I have put the word traditional on there just to make sure that people are clear. This is what you probably think of when you say marketing agency. And now with this HighLevel concept, I heard a conversation in the HighLevel workshop today of a it was like trying to take what I call business model 3 and business model 4, SaaS and SwaS, and say, well, there's this new thing because HighLevel is getting so much market share. There's this new thing called HighLevel as a service. I would take exception to that approach, because what I think, if you start thinking about that way, then it becomes you start focusing entirely on the tools, and you're losing the picture of why we're doing the thing in the first place. So all four of the agency models, 3, 4, 5, and 6, exist on a spectrum, or a continuum is probably a better word. They exist on a continuum from, here's the software, it's my white label or gray label, it's my white label OmniHub, or it's my gray label lead connector, up through a very, which is very much hands-on by the client, has to get in there and respond to the messages on their lead connector app on a daily basis or whatever, respond to their reviews. A traditional marketing agency might say, we'll take over responding to your reviews for you, at which point you don't have to actually get in, log into your Google Business Profile or your lead connector to respond to your Google reviews. We're doing that on your behalf. That's the spectrum. It has a lot to do with how engaged the client has to be with their own marketing. All right. We talked with Patrick Allmond about where the business coaching or the marketing coaching falls in this. And when I started the conversation with him, I said, I don't know anybody that's really this business model primarily, where all the other ones, I know at least somebody who has that as their primary business, but I know enough about the way their business is working that they're also have the affiliate hanging out as an option, as an alternate way for them, alternate revenue stream to get paid. Or they primarily position themselves as a pure affiliate, but every once in a while they'll take on a SaaS client, or they position themselves as a pure affiliate or a value-added affiliate, but occasionally they'll take on a traditional marketing agencies, SMMA or website project for particular people that they have a close relationship with. And when I first started talking to Patrick, my thought was this is the exception, that everybody that I knew at that point I thought was primarily something else with this as an alternate. But he highlighted a couple people, and for purpose of this conversation, I'm not going to name them. They are named in the interview with him, but there are a couple of agencies in the high level space who are marketing training agencies who happen to also have some of their own clients that they test projects on. But the place they position themselves, so they're the opposite. They're the exact. Every single one of these, I know of somebody who, and that's their entire business model. Those are very much the exception. Normally, the business model is one of these 9 with 2 or 3 wings, supporting efforts. And that now, after my interview with Patrick, it includes that. All right. The support agency. The point that Michael Pacito made was, if you take responsibility for the scope of the project, you can get paid more than if you are just a task doer. So for the freelancers, for the consultants, for the specialists, self-declared experts, if you say, I'm a funnel builder, I build funnels, hire me to build a funnel, then you get paid to build the funnel. And you and the client have a negotiation about what is included in the funnel. Is it just 2 or 3 landing pages, the landing page and the thank you page? Landing page, order page, and thank you page is just the 3 pages of the funnel. Does it include the web? Does it include the workflow that when someone completes the order form, that does the follow-up, make sure that the company owner gets notified, and also make sure that it sends the link to the product, so the product gets delivered if it's a digital product, or the shipping label gets cut if it's a physical product that has to get shipped. What is the scope of a funnel? There's a conversation. But the point that Mike was making is, you get paid more if you take accountability for scoping the problem instead of waiting for a list of tasks and just going doing the tasks. If you need to wait for the client to tell you what the list of tasks are, effectively you're acting like an employee. You're not acting like a consultant. You're not acting like a service provider. And you're going to get paid less because they have to figure out how to do that. They have to figure out what to do, and then they have to figure out how to tell you how to do it. If, on the other hand, you say, hey, let's have a conversation, what do you want done? Oh, this is what you need, and to paint the picture of what they need, they're much more willing to pay you to provide all of what you then say they need. And then we talked with Aaron Oliver about building apps for the app marketplace. And there are some things that HighLevel does really, really well, but there's also some gaps in how it does it. And there are apps that solve those problems, that reconnect the things that HighLevel does. There are also apps that connect to other services and integrates those results with HighLevel. Most of the people who are doing app development also have the skills to be business model 8 support. And they probably have a SaaS client or two, or some number of SaaS clients. The clientele for business models 8 and 9 can be directly to business model 0, the end user client company, or it can be to any of the other agency models 3, 4, 5, and 6, who say, hey, we need an app that does this, or we need some support that does that. Models on the 7, 8, 9 column, their clientele are the users of HighLevel, business model 0, and also business models 1 through 6. Vanessa made a really good point in her interview where she said, the reason to pick business model 1 is if you don't want to be the tech support person. When someone signs up for HighLevel through your affiliate link, they have direct access to HighLevel support. We're going to contrast that specifically on business model 3, but 3, 4, 5, and 6. If someone subscribes to your white label or even gray label agency software and then has a technical issue, you're responsible for providing that support. HighLevel will not talk to your client. If they're subscribed directly to HighLevel, then they get their tech support directly from HighLevel, or you could choose to introduce them to someone who's in business model 8 who can provide them support. So that's the main reason to select this as a business model if you just don't want to do tech support. Also, the barrier to entry is very, very low. You literally don't even have to have a subscription to HighLevel yourself. You just need to be fluent enough in talking about it that you can describe to someone what it is and why they would want it. Because everyone who has a HighLevel agency account has an affiliate link as part of that package. But if you don't have an affiliate link, if you don't have an agency subscription, you can contact HighLevel and get an affiliate link from them. All right, business model 2, the value-added affiliate. I'm not going to read Josh's quote that I have on the screen. I'll let you read that. What I want to highlight is the screenshot, because he actually did a slide presentation in his interview with me. And this is a really, really brilliant observation. I have other definitions of no-brainer offer. So Devin Tracy's definition of a no-brainer offer is an offer that your ideal client would feel stupid. I think he used the word dumb. An offer that your ideal prospect would say dumb saying no to. Someone who's not your ideal client, they could hear you say it and it would, man, okay, that's what you do. It's not compelling. But if they are your target market, they might still say no, but they'll feel dumb walking away having said no. That's his definition of a no-brainer offer. Josh Sanderford has a really great definition of a no-brainer offer. And that is the product, a subscription to HighLevel, along with some set of helpful bonuses that you're not charging not charging them for. That's a no-brainer offer. They're going like, I was going to sign up anyway. This is what you're giving me in addition. You've just taken away my objections. It allows you, the second pro bullet on the slide, it allows you to differentiate your offer from everybody else who's in the affiliate space, because now Josh's videos are different than someone else's than Mike's snapshot or whatever. It allows you to differentiate your offer from all the pure affiliates who all they have to offer in the pure affiliate is the affiliate link and subscribe to HighLevel. Well, why should I subscribe to your HighLevel, which has the same 14-day trial, as his HighLevel, which has the same 14-day trial? Oh, by the way, the top affiliates all have a 30-day trial. So why should I sign up for anybody with a 14-day trial when I can get a 30-day trial? People signing up for my agency, I don't give trials. We can talk about that on another day. Software as a service. Lavinia said, if you're good at solving problems, so the reason that you would have a white label SaaS, a niche industry, or in her case, hospitality, or a functional SaaS, is it solves a particular problem for a target market, it's not a problem with HighLevel, it's their operational problem. They don't need to buy HighLevel, they need the problem solved. If you have a solution to that problem, you can sell your subscription along with your support for a significantly higher margin than just saying, hey, sign up for HighLevel and I'll throw you in a snapshot. Because you're solving an operational problem in that industry that you happen to know. Software with a service. Shane and I talked a lot about the fact that this is not a get rich quick scheme. HighLevel as an operating system is complex enough that just keeping up with just learning and staying abreast of what's changing in the platform and how to solve problems using the platform is a job. The clients that you're serving don't care what you know. They don't even care what you do on their behalf. What they care is, are they getting the result? If you're not doing the hard work to produce the result, then they're gonna find someone else to provide the service. The biggest challenge with software with a service is because you're trying to provide a productized service, but the messaging, it's an expectation management issue. You're telling your client, I'm trying to help you solve this problem. Here's my productized service that solves that problem. The last bullet in the cons of the core characteristics of this one is scope creep comes in very often because it's very easy when you're in business model 3, it's easy to say, well, that's the software subscription. I'll solve technical problems, but you need to implement your own marketing strategy. Here, because you're doing some marketing tasks for them, it's easy for them to start expecting you to do business model 5 that we're going to talk about in a second. That's the scope creep starts becoming, we want you to do more and more and more. Meanwhile, you've priced your package as a productized service. And now suddenly your scope creep is expanding to providing greater marketing services. You're becoming a business model 6, and you're not priced as a business model 6, you're priced as a SaaS. Business model 5, we talked about with Alastair and Amy. And this is the idea that you can just solve people's problems. You can by just doing it for them. So you're giving them the services, but because you're doing it on a fractional basis, they understand that they're not hiring you full time, that you're using software to provide the real-time response, and you're doing intermittent bulk work, blocks of time work on their behalf. It allows you to serve more people than the next model, business model 6. And because if the expectations are set right and they understand that you're not going to be 100% their CMO full time, then it allows you to have enough different clients. It reduces your concentration risk, but at the same time, it allows you to have a clearly defined set of, these are the things I do for each of my clients. One of the biggest challenges here is if you haven't clearly described your value add, then it's easy for someone to say, well, I can get this SaaS or SwaS offer from somebody else at a lower price, and they're not seeing the additional value you're bringing. So it's important to explicit enough in how you ensure that people know what you're doing on their behalf, that they recognize that you're doing more than just providing the software, that you're actually doing agency level services. But it's not so customized and everything is bespoke for this client that suddenly you're actually acting as a business model 6 agency. And now the amount of time that you can invest with each of those clients is the bottleneck in your ability to actually serve them. With business model 6, it's all about being so bespoke, so custom, so specialized, particular for each client that they don't doubt for a second that all the customers, all the projects, all the work that's coming into their company is because of your activity. Because they can see that, when they can see that, they see that value, then the amount of churn is reduced significantly. A good agency to client relationship is a long-term relationship. It allows you to charge higher premium prices because they are seeing the value you're bringing to the equation. And again, the challenge is if they think that you're not bringing that kind of value, you're not solving their pain, you're not generating the income that they think their marketing agency should generate for them, then they'll go find an affiliate where they can just sign up for the software themselves. Or they'll go find a SwaS agency, because what the SwaS agency says they're doing sounds exactly like what they see they're getting from you as a marketing agency. But the space for the marketing agency is still here. There's an important reason why I'm making sure that I keep this in the business models, because first of all, that's who HighLevel was originally designed to support, was the traditional marketing agencies. It effectively, HighLevel, when it was first launched, if this framework had existed, which it doesn't, it's just my framework. HighLevel would be creating the business model 6 to business model 5 boundary line. The advantage and strength of this business model is companies know what a marketing agency, they know what an SEO agency does for them. Whether you can convince them to hire you is a different thing. That's what the training programs inside GHL Business Launch, the OmniHub Challenge, and the Business Launch curriculum. That's what those training programs, the SEO Freelancer, how you convince course. Those programs are about how you convince someone, or how you give them the opportunity to say yes to hiring you to do these things. If you can convince them to hire you as an agency, they know what an SEO agency is. If you can show them that you can do that for them, they will hire you. All right. I didn't change the label. Marketing agency, marketing consultant, marketing coach, marketing advisor. So this is about helping other marketing agencies decide how to. Well, you're welcome, Tony. I appreciate you saying thanks for the series. I appreciate you participating in my conversation. You actually helped me reframe how that traditional marketing agency solves pain. Because when I initially asked you to do that interview, I was seeing it from just the activity perspective. When you started talking about this is how they see my value, when they see that I'm solving their pain point of the clients, that they don't have a connection between the marketing activity and cash coming in the door, that helped me frame better, more clearly, why the business model 6 has to stay in the framework. Business model 7, and I now, after the conversation with Patrick, there are a couple of agencies in the HighLevel space whose primary product is coaching other HighLevel agencies or coaching marketing agencies. If as a freelancer or an independent consultant, you're offering free consulting, hoping to get the project, that's a loss leader. That's fine. But if you happen to say, so like Amy and Alastair teach a methodology, a sales methodology called DVR, Digital Visibility Report. That's these two people. So that's the sales methodology that they teach. And they specifically teach it as you can sell the marketing report, the digital visibility report, as a product for in the $500 range. So somewhere in the $250 to $750 range as a product, because you can say to the client, to the prospect, you know what, I'm going to do this report for you. It's a $500 report. And then you can take it to your marketing department or some other agency and have them implement it. Or you can hire me to implement it. if you were doing that part, if you're just doing the marketing consultation and selling that as your product, effectively you would be doing business model 7, and I need to change the title. It's not marketing agency, it's marketing consultant. If you're and what Amy and Alastair do, teaching people how to do the DVR is a business model 7 kind of activity. In fact, I figured out business model 5 from them talking about their agency clients, and I figured out business model 7 from watching what they were teaching me. Business model 8. So sometimes business model 8 people actually do work for end user business model 0 clients because some people subscribe to HighLevel, and HighLevel support can tell you how to use HighLevel, but it's not designed to help you solve your business problems. So even someone who has a direct subscription to HighLevel might hire an agency, a support agency, to help them solve marketing problems because solving marketing problems isn't what HighLevel support does. HighLevel support can work you through the technical issues of using HighLevel. So I said earlier, being accountable is Mike's word. Taking my way of saying it would be taking responsibility for the outcome of the project. So instead of getting hired as a freelancer or as a technical implementer, so developing the strategy. This is what we want this in Mike's world. This is what we want the snapshot to do. That's the consultation part. Building the snapshot, building the workflows, building the landing pages, making sure the right tags and custom values are built out correctly so that the system all talks to each other. Designing the system is the business model 7. Building it is business model 8. You can charge a lot more as a consultant, as a freelancer, as a technical specialist, if you do the consultation up front and paint the picture of this is what we're doing, this is the scope of the problem. It's not just building a landing page. It's this whole system that's going on in the backside. And once the client sees that, they recognize that they owe you. No one owes you anything. They recognize the value you're bringing, and they're willing to pay you more for the value that you bring. So I talked enough about the gaps in HighLevel. There are gaps in HighLevel. I have not in this conversation. I'm not highlighting what those gaps are. What we talked about with Aaron Oliver was if you have the skills to build apps or to build custom integrations to solve client problems that can't be solved natively inside HighLevel, you can charge a premium for those services. The great thing about building apps for HighLevel is the market segment already has self-selected. They're the people who are using Lead Connector, the people who are using HighLevel. The challenge that I see for most of the people, the people that should be in this business model but aren't making significant income at it, usually it's because they're really good technical, but they're not so good at marketing. So I would suggest you need to partner with somebody either in business model 7 or business model 8 to make sure that you're building the right thing for the right portion, right segment of the HighLevel economic circles. And then there's the gray area between business model 9 and business model 8 is simply that in business model 8 is when you're using the native programming language of HighLevel, and business model 9 is when you're adding to the native HighLevel functions inside HighLevel. All right, so that should take me to my conclusion slide. There we go. All right, so we talked about how each of the 9 business models supports business model 0, the end user, and whether that business model 0 is subscribed directly to HighLevel through an affiliate link, or whether that end user is a account inside an agency's subscription to HighLevel, in the end, they're who's using HighLevel to reach out to their target market to capture their leads and nurture those leads into closed sales. And that's what we do in the HighLevel world, is help those end user clients run their business or do marketing for their business. The reason I have 9 different business models is, if your understanding of what a marketing agency is thank you, Tony. I appreciate that. If your perception of what a marketing agency is that traditional SEO or web development agency, but your skills are in business model 8, then you're probably marketing your skills incorrectly. If your skills are in business model 8, you're really good at building out the technical workflows in the backside to make a funnel actually work, as opposed to just being a pretty landing page. Knowing that that's the skill you bring to the table allows you to focus who you're talking to and find the person that actually has the problem that you actually solve. The boundaries between all of these is a gray dotted line, because none of them are a fixed thing. Again, I made a point on every single one of them. I know even the people that I interviewed that are on this, whose faces are on the screen right now, every one of them has at least part of their income stream in some other part of the system. All right. And with that, I'm now over time. I'm approaching my 1 hour, even though I started late. I'm Keith Beshears. I'm the bald guy. I help small businesses with marketing theory, tactics, techniques, training, and technology. And specifically, I help people whose business is using HighLevel to help other businesses figure out what the right business for them is. I hope this is helpful. And if not, you don't have to listen to me. That's fine. All right. Seriously, I hope you all have a great week.